Hi, it's Maura McKeever from Trinity Estate Planning again. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about me. I've talked about how I became a personal family lawyer, how my approach to estate planning, well actually I call it life and legacy planning, is different than other attorneys, and what it's like to work with me. But now I thought you might like to actually know a little bit about my legal career. So I went to the University of Notre Dame for undergrad. I am a huge college football fan, go Irish, and I was either going to become the next Diane Sawyer, huge network star, or a lawyer. So it's not very realistic to think that you're going to be Diane Sawyer. So instead, I went to law school, went to Boston College for law school, and after I graduated, I went into litigation. It kind of fit the need because litigation is a lot of drama, sort of like it would have been had I been a TV news anchor. A lot of drama. It's also intellectually stimulating. What it is, too, that I am not, though, is very adversarial. So after years in litigation, I started to segue my practice a little bit, and I ended up adding on more and more transactional work, which what that basically means is that I was drafting up documents, employment agreements, contracts, loan documents, and I really enjoyed that because as a litigator, I knew what could happen if something went wrong in a document, could end up in court, and I could tell you, the bad parts about that. But I also enjoyed the wordsmithing of being a transactional attorney. So as part of transactional attorney, I was also doing some estate planning. But I was a little bit frustrated with the way estate planning was done in the traditional world. I found that frequently what I did and what most other attorneys were doing was to have a quick meeting with the client, draft up the documents, send the documents over to them by email, say, hey, take a look, let me know if you have any questions, and then once you're ready, we'll sign. Well, a lot of times people never even got back to me because they were afraid to call and say, you know what, I actually don't even understand these documents. Can you explain them? And then the pandemic hit. And it was a chance, like it is for most of us, for me to really sit back and just reflect on where I'd been, where I was going, what I loved, what I didn't like. And plus, I'm in Metro Detroit. The pandemic hit Detroit really hard. Every day I would read in the paper or hear on the news about another family who had been ripped apart by the pandemic, and really there was no plan in place. I would hear about, families where both parents died, leaving behind 4 or 5, sometimes even 6 children. Or equally horrifying was the situations where elderly parents died and the adult children had no idea what to do. So I decided then that I was going to focus my practice on estate planning. And that's what I've done. And I've taken a different approach, and we've talked a little bit about that. But some of the biggest differences, just to kind of wrap it up quickly, instead of being hourly, like I was when I was a litigator, charging $350, $400 an hour, I was going to make all of my plans flat fee, with fees that we agreed upon in advance. The reason for that? I knew that when I was charging hourly, clients didn't want to call thinking that I was clicking a stopwatch and they were going to be billed for that time. I want my clients to call me. I want them to get to know me. So that's one difference. A second big difference is that I have a process in place. I know that once somebody meets with me, it's important to finalize their plan. So I take a gentle approach and keep people moving through the system. And then the third thing that I do is, I hope at least, I speak in just plain English. I try to speak in simple terms, not legalese, so that people can understand what's going on. So that's a bit about me. In this next Face-to-Face Friday, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my family.